The day I received my provisional acceptance into a graduate program, my mom came home carrying 2 shopping bags with the Apple logo on them. She said with a smile, "Since you're both heading to graduate school, I bought each of you a new laptop. It's only fair." My sister eagerly tore open her bag. Inside was the latest MacBook, sleek, lightweight, and beautiful. Then, Mom handed me mine. It was an older model from several years ago, with basic specs and not even a single accessory included. I looked down at the 2 laptops, the difference between them impossible to ignore. Before I could say anything, Mom gently ruffled my hair. "Sunny, your field doesn't require that much computing power. This one's durable, and it was a great deal. I went to several stores before I found the right one for you, so don't overthink it." She smiled as she spoke, almost hoping I would praise her for all the effort she had made. She did love me. To prove she did not play favorites, she spent a sweltering summer afternoon driving from store to store to find my laptop. However, she had forgotten one thing. My sister and I were in the exact same graduate program. That was when I realized something I should have understood long ago. The love she gave me was always just a little less. From that day on, I stopped hoping it would ever be enough. Without saying a word, I carried the old, heavy laptop back to my room. Behind me, I heard my mother, Judith Hawkins, laugh with satisfaction. "I told you Sunny was the sensible one. She's never fought with the family over anything." In the weeks leading up to graduate school interviews, my older sister, Fiona Charlton, spent every day hanging out with college friends and shopping for new clothes. Meanwhile, I locked myself in my room and pulled 3 all-nighters in a row. Professor Wilson from our department had one recommendation slot that guaranteed admission into one of the university's premier research labs. Anyone who earned that spot would also receive early access to the school's most prestigious research projects. I spent 3 full days researching and writing a detailed proposal. After a rigorous review, it was finally approved. Not long afterward, Professor Wilson's lab sent me a confirmation email. Because this project requires a significant time commitment, including some weekends and holidays, a parent or legal guardian must sign the attached consent form acknowledging these arrangements. After dinner, I handed the printed consent form to Mom. She skimmed through it, her brows furrowing slightly. "So, you'd be joining the advanced research lab, and you'd have to work weekends and holidays too? That sounds exhausting. You're about to start graduate school. There's no reason to push yourself this hard. I don't mind working hard, and this opportunity is incredibly rare. It'll help a lot when I apply for a PhD and when I start looking for a job," I answered simply. Mom nodded, folded the form, and slipped it into her pocket. "All right, I'll read it carefully tonight and sign it for you tomorrow." I believed her. 3 days later, the thing I received was not my signed consent form. Instead, I saw Fiona's name on the list of students accepted into Professor Wilson's research lab on the department's website. I stared at the screen for 3 long seconds before getting up and pushing open the door to Mom's bedroom. She was sitting on the edge of the bed, helping Fiona pick out a dress for graduate school orientation. The 2 of them were chatting and laughing together. Why did Professor Wilson's lab position become Fiona's? I looked straight into Judith's eyes, my voice eerie in its calmness. Mom froze, her hand still holding the dress. Fiona immediately stood up, looking awkward as she avoided my gaze. "Sunny, I didn't know. Mom told me Professor Wilson offered me the position himself." "Go try on this dress first," Judith interrupted, patting Fiona on the back. "Check yourself in the mirror in the living room." Fiona hesitated for a moment before leaving. As soon as the door closed, Mom let out a long sigh. She walked over to me, her face filled with what looked like both love and helplessness. "Sunny, don't blame me for making the decision without asking you." She reached for my hand. "I contacted Professor Wilson myself. I had your research proposal replaced with Fiona's." After looking through Fiona's undergraduate record, he reluctantly agreed to accept her. I slowly pulled my hand away and stared at her. That was my spot. I stayed awake for 3 straight nights researching and writing that proposal just to pass the first round. What gave you the right to hand it to her?